Hello and welcome back to another episode of the PVM focused Ultimate Ironman. In the last episode, we did a lot of alchemical Hydra and started to get better at that boss, and along the way we got basically every drop we needed. We got the Hydra's leather, and then we got the pet, and then right after getting the pet we actually got the Hydra's claw. Thank you so much for supporting this series and watching the videos. I really appreciate it and I hope you enjoy. Yeah, this has been a little bit since the last clip, and as you can see, I am currently making adamant darts. So a few things have happened, and the first major thing is if we go down to Zulrah, you can see that we actually got the Tanzanite Fang for the below pipe, and we actually got it a couple of kills in because I believe we started at 331 or 32, and so 4 or 5 kills in, we got the blow pipe, and then I realized that I didn't have the stats to make or fletch the adamant darts from the bars that I had. So we had to go do fletching from I think 61 to 67, which was really fast. We just did broad arrows, and then we also had to do 68 to 73 smithing, and we're currently boosting with dwarven stouts because I just couldn't be bothered to finish this off. So we needed to do that, and unfortunately I didn't get any clips of me doing this or getting the drop because I was streaming, and I often forget to actually record clips as I'm streaming. Okay, actually, I was going to do woodcutting, but technically I believe this magic tree should give us a farming level to 77, which will give us 1800 total. And yeah, we're going to use the chisel on this to make the blow pipe. Pretty crazy that we have a blow pipe on the Ultimate Ironman. This should be completing Ictharlin's Little Helper, so that's pretty good. We are one step closer to starting Dragon Slayer 2. But just a quick update on where we're at. I decided to just leave Zulrah shortly after I got the blowpipe. KC Zulrah, we'll see we ended at 420. Alright, that's the Tale of Two Cats completed. So that didn't take very long at all, actually. So with this quest being finished, we can officially start the skilling grind in order to do Dragon Slayer 2. So we now have all the quests completed, we have 200 quest points, and the last two things we need is 68 mining and 60 thieving, which both of these are not too big of a deal. You cannot boost on either of them or any of the stats, I believe. So with that being said, we're going to get ready for the mining grind, and for mining, we are going to be doing sandstone. Yep, so then you can just run over here, click deposit, and go right back in, and it tells you how many buckets of sand you're currently holding. Okay, just a brief update, but yeah, I think it's been about 15 minutes or so, just about 20 maybe, somewhere around there. And we're getting about 31k experience per hour, as you can see. So I'm assuming if we're being really lazy and not paying like a whole bunch of attention, it's probably more like 27, 28k maybe. Okay, so Dragon Slayer has been completed. We actually did Dragon Slayer entirely with the Dragon Hunter Lance, including the final boss, and it actually wasn't so bad. Now, most people, especially on an Iron Man account, are not going to probably have a lance before they do this quest, but I did, and I tried it with melee, the whole quest line, I guess, and it really wasn't a problem. In fact, it probably was better than doing range, especially at my range level. Now that we've completed the quest, I figured I would make the Hydra leather into the gloves. We've been holding on to this for a while, and it's finally nice to have the gloves completed. They look so cool. They actually fit really well with the lance. Then we can just string that. Okay, and then we got the salve amulet. We are 5 kills in now. We've actually kind of got the hang of Vorkath. It's actually much easier than something like Zulrah, but unfortunately, I have to teleport out a decent amount. I've realized that kind of based on the beginning of the kill, whether I get hit by a lot of melees, I end up having to teleport. Another problem though is that technically my magic accuracy is minus 67 when I swap to the Slayer Staff. So that means I end up splashing more than half the time. I think I've only been successful once or twice total so far with the Crumble Undead spell. So I've just been taking off the fighter torso as well when I need to cast it, which is a little tedious. But since we're only doing 50 kills, it shouldn't be that big of an issue to just take it off here and there when that happens. Okay, so we got the drop. We got it a little bit ahead. So we got it on kill count 32. We got a PB of 149, which is pretty good. Yeah, so we're going to go make the office assembler right now. And then we're going to probably use up these adamant bars and the adamant ore real quick to add a bit more darts to our collection so we can start doing lizardmen shamans. So it looks like that's it. We got the office assembler. So if we equip this, you can see it looks pretty cool. It's got the horns from the head. And other than that, it's basically the same visually. But as you can see, if I can take off all my gear, that it actually gives a range strength bonus of +2. And then in terms of accuracy, I think it's only also like +2 above the accumulator. But the range strength is not the only thing that's impactful. It actually does save 8% more darts. Okay, we're back at shamans. This is pretty much what we've been kind of setting up for. This is going to probably be a major grind unless we get pretty lucky. Basically, we are at, let's see, 1,856 lizardmen shaman. We're already almost halfway to the drop rate, which is not too bad. And another last point real quick is that I will be trying to use Hawkeye the entire time. So I did some tests between the same amount of prayer potions and the same amount of inventory setup and everything. And it seemed like with this inventory setup, I was getting about 65 kills per trip. And that was without Hawkeye. So with Hawkeye, I was running out of supplies much faster, but I was getting about 50 to 53 kills per trip, and it was taking a lot less time. So for my previous trip, I was actually using the full antidote plus plus, so I was doing about a 45 to 50 minute trip. And when I use Hawkeye, this trip is much shorter. It's about 30 minutes or so, and in 30 minutes, I did 50 to 53 kills. So overall, it's much faster for me to be doing Hawkeye. The reason why I was skeptical was because obviously prayer is another finite resource that I have in this grind. And if we go really deep on getting the Dragon Warhammer, we are definitely going to run out of prayer potions and start having to dip into super restores. And then on top of that, we're probably going to run out of super restores. I'm just recording this quick clip of getting 87 ranged. So that's pretty good. We are getting experience very fast, actually. So I figured I would mention that I've kind of been using a different method for shamans. A lot of people go to this room in the beginning and they use the L method, which is essentially going against those two walls. And I think that that method works great, and it's really not that hard to do or click intensive or requires a lot of focus. But I actually think that after doing a couple trips on this method, which is the middle room here, it's a little bit less click intensive and paying attention if you've already been at shamans for a while and you know the way the purple spawns work. So generally speaking, as you can see, I just got hit, but pretty much what happens is you actually just stand in this one single line and you never have to leave it. And this is nice because not only do you never have to leave it, but um, you don't ever get hit by melee from shamans, which can be kind of annoying with the L method because you kind of have to still dance around them a little bit, depending on their spawns and if they walk a little bit. They can also pull you off the edge of the wall in some cases, and so little things like that can be a little tedious. Yeah, so typically what you're doing is you're standing between these 5 tiles, and then whenever they summon the spawns, you actually walk 1 tile from the edge, and then you just wait until you see it about to blow up, and then you step to the edge. And with that, you pretty much can do a full trip without worrying about damage. So we finally built the mounted Xerx talisman. We just got 5,000 charges, and we actually got a Xerx talisman drop shortly after, which is nice. So we were able to build this. This will be really nice because this has several useful teleports around Zaya. Particularly the Glade is going to be useful for farm runs, and some of the other parts if we're doing clue scrolls or we just need to get around Zaya is really nice. Okay, so we ran out of darts in the blowpipe, so we ended up making about 12,000 mithril darts. All right, I'm a few seconds late, but we did hit 90 range. So that puts us at base 90 combats pretty much outside of prayer. So we did just get an uncut diamond from a Lizardman Shaman, which is technically 1 in 10,240. So we have officially broke the 5K KC mark. So it's a big milestone. That means we're just above the drop rate now. All right. 91 range. It's a pretty big milestone, I guess. We're actually one level from halfway to 99. Also, a random fun fact, we basically just got a back-to-back Xerx Talisman. I think it was one kill in between, and we got 2 of those. That would be really nice if we still needed Xerx Talismans. It does feel kind of bad just leaving them on the ground like this because we don't have any real use for them. Okay, so I'm just recording a clip. I think we are hitting somewhere around 5.7k KC. So it hasn't been too long since the last one. But basically, I think I'm going to actually stop using the blowpipe a bit early. Now, originally I said I would go until I ran out of darts, which I do have, 3,200 left. But I actually was just thinking about it, and since I'm already onto my super restores, and this grind is going to end up most likely being a marathon rather than a sprint, I guess you could say, it's probably best that I just switch to a slower paced style of gameplay, I guess, if that makes sense. So basically, I'm going to switch over to the MSB and I'm going to stop using Hawkeye. So another day of killing shamans, and I got a shield left half a little bit ago, a few kills, and then I got the nature talisman, which according to the wiki is 1 in 6,827, and the shield left half is 1 in 6,756. All right, well, it finally happened. We got a curved bone. I don't know our exact KC number, but we're somewhere around 7,000 or so. So not that much time has passed, but that is technically the second curved bone of this shaman's grind, but the first one we got way before we started again. I think it was somewhere before 1000 KC. So that's 93 range completed. So we're getting up there. Levels are getting very, very, very long now, though. We just got 94 range. I missed the level up as it happened, but yeah, 94 range. I need to range pot. So overall, we're getting up to a 107 after using a range potion, so that's pretty cool. All right, so if we talk to the Shazian Infiltrator, we can see that our KC has just broke the 10,000 mark. Yeah, we are officially double the drop rate of the Dragon Warhammer, which is a 1 in 5,000 drop. Going dry doesn't really mean anything because the drop rate is just so high that you really haven't made any progress. And while that technically is true for smaller drops as well, and just in general for drop rates, holy, we did it. All right, so I'm going to check my KC for the Warhammer, and we got it at 10,421. So I guess it could have been worse. From the clips you're probably seeing before this clip, it has been a decent amount of time because I decided to take a break when I hit somewhere between like 9 and 10,000 KC. Okay, so I've had a few minutes to sit here and think about this, and I basically just wanted to cover kind of where we were at with this grind when this happened, because again, I took a bit of a break. To be honest, I can't really remember what I've already talked about, so I'm just going to go over it again and show some final, I guess, stats and things like that. So anyways, I guess first off, we'll start with range. I believe we started this at about 86 range. I don't know the exact experience, but we are about 40% of the way to 96 now. And lastly, I'm going to show the loot tab. So let me put this up on the screen real quick. Hopefully it is decently visible, but nothing super notable from this. I mean, the drops from Lizardman Shamans are very standard. Lizardman Shamans do have a lot of drops on the rare drop table. I think they get the rare drop table a lot more common than most other monsters in the game. And you can kind of see that with some of the items I got, like 3 dragon square shields. You can also see that I got ruined javelins, which is an extremely rare drop from there. I got 1 curved bone, and I mean, other than that, not a whole lot of notable stuff. 3 diamonds, which is also, I believe, a pretty rare drop